Organizing Committee, I warmest welcome to all participants joining us today. As the saying goes, only by knowing one another can we truly build respect and care. That is why today's event is so important. It provides us the opportunity to connect, understand, and grow together. Before we begin, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the University of Doha for Science and Technology for making this event possible. We are grateful for this opportunity and look forward to fostering future collaboration and knowledge sharing. Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Naura Putri, and I am postgraduate student in the Master of Logistic Management program at OB. It is my great honor to serve as the MC for today's mini global lecture with the topic of predictive analytics in logistic and supply chain for sustainability and competitive advantage. We are deeply honored by the presence of our distinguished guests. Please allow me to introduce and warmly welcome our Rector, Professor Insinyur Nyoman Pujawan, Master of Engineering, Vice Rector 1 for Student Affairs, Professor Dr. Insinyur Agus Purnomo, Dean of FLTP, Dr. Melia Eka Lestiani, Dean of Vocational School, Dr. Mania, Head of Master's Program in Logistic Management, Dr. Ena Mulyati, Dr. Insinyur Diyar Fahmi, and lastly, Mr. Hijrah, Dr. Hijrah, welcome. We also want to welcome all lecturers, students, and participants attending this event. Before we proceed further, allow me to briefly introduce the Master of Logistic Management. Pak Arandi, can you give us the slide to so our participant knows about our program, Pak?
Do not forget to share the sound because if the sound is not shared, then there will be lack of information.
Thank you, Bu Yayu. So before we proceed further, allow me to briefly introduce the Master of Logistic Management or MMLOG program at OB. The Master of Logistic Management or MMLOG program at OB was officially established in 2023, positioning OB as the first university in Indonesia focused on logistics, supply chain management, e-commerce, and business. This program prepares future leaders with advanced expertise and offer a dual qualification, Master of Logistic Management and International Recognition as MILT or CMLT from Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. The curriculum provides six concentration, supply chain, transportation, marketing, human capital, entrepreneurial logistics, and port and shipping management, allowing students to align their studies with their career goals. What makes MLOC unique is the integration of academic knowledge with industry-based competencies, including freight forwarding, customs, international trade, and transportations. Graduates are expected to be innovative, competitive, committed to sustainable development at both national and international levels. Okay. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Nurul Saiful Fitri bin Abdul Rahman. But before that, let me introduce himself first. Dr. Nurul Saiful is a faculty member in the Department of Logistics and Supply Management at the University of Doha for Science and Technology Qatar. With 18 years of experience in higher education and industry across Malaysia, Oman, and the UAE, he brings extensive expertise in logistics, supply chain, and maritime operations. He has held several key administrative roles, including chair of the Maritime Operation Management Program and special officer to the Vice Chancellor at University Malaysia Terengganu, a recognized professional technologist in transportation and logistic technology. Dr. Nurul Saiful has authored over 120 publications, contributed to several books, secured 22 research grants, and actively guided 14 postgraduate students, with 3 receiving past thesis awards. Please join me warmly welcoming Dr. Nurul Saiful Fitri bin Abdul Rahman. Ms. Dr. Saiful, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Nora. Okay, for these introductions. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
anyone hear
Can
me?
hear
Yes.
you
Okay.
clearly.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the
Now
Sorry,
your voice is gone.
we cannot hear you now.
So can you hear me well now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Erna Moliati, and also the event organizer for this kind of invitation. So I'm glad to be here. And also thank you to the rectors and the first principals of deans, and also the other team members or management members from the University of Logistics and Business International. Okay, so please allow me to share my screen. Basically, my name is Noro Shaifu Fitri bin Abdul Rahman. I'm originally from Malaysia. So as mentioned by Ms. Nura Putri, that I have about 18 years of experience in both industry as well as the academic line or institutions. Okay, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. Let me just... Can you see my screen then? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So let me just start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So basically, these topics, I think, like nowadays we are talking about industry revolution 4.0, 3.0, 4.0, and now moving forward, we are in the logistic industry. We are not talking about or debating about the 5.0. What is the differences between 4.0 and 5.0 industry revolutions? Okay, having said that, one of the element in the logistics components nowadays, which are the software that we are using, and also tools, logistics tools, which call it predictive analytic. Okay, so today I just wanted to concentrate on this predictive analytic. How does this predictive analytic able to help the, especially for the students who are like doing your dissertations later on, or any research projects, or any kind of research study, or journal papers, so that it could be help you to enhance your knowledge or insights, in order to make sure that it will be workable for you later on for your end results. Okay. Okay, digital revolution is like not news anymore, because everybody is already aware of what is AI, what is IoT, what is ML, machine learning, blockchain, big data. But the thing is, like, we have to understand how does it move from one point to another point. So we started everything from Industry Revolution 1.0, and then 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. Let me just move it somewhere around here. Okay. Okay, so we started everything from the manual process to steam process, and also start using a computer, and now we start moving to what's these automations. So related to Industry 5.0, okay, now we have in automations, we have a system itself, but now we try to find connections between the system itself and the humans. How does the human are able to incorporate with the system? So this is what is going to be the intentions of Industrial 5.0, in the Industrial Revolution 5.0. Okay, here if you can see that we have a number of technological advance. Okay, for example, like here, AI and machine learning, IoT, Internet of Things, robotics, which is commonly, I mean, very many industries are now keep using all these robotics, because first of all, it's good to have this, it's good to have robots, but against, according to my previous research, so many industries are start to complaining about how much that they have to invest, because the current trend is very unpredictable in the future, but somehow they have to follow. Either they have to look at on the intrinsic or extrinsic element in order to maintain and to be competitive in the market. But the thing is, what is going to be the cost that they have to spend in the future? That is come into a big question mark. Okay, blockchain and other methods. Okay, the reason why we are now trying to move from this traditional logistics to the new modern or modernized of logistics, because we want to be a proactive and also predictive on the logistics. Because now today we are doing things happen right now, but in the future we don't know what is going to be happen. So what they are trying to do by you having these AI and ML systems, so we need to predict something that's what can be done next. months, next years, and a couple of years in front of us. So then again, that's the reason why it is very important for supply chain logistics to analyze and to eliminate any inefficiency elements, because again, in logistics, what we try to do is we try to increase the profits, or try to by increase the profit by having good services. We provide good services to the customer, then we are able to attract more customers to come, because we have existing customer as well as the new customer, potential customer who will come and join to buy our services or products. And at the same time, the second point is we try to eliminate a number of costs which are not, it's not as efficient for us to be used anymore. So means that by having good product systems, digitalized systems, or any kind of a process that we have, we can eliminate an unnecessary system by using a lot of elements, for example, Lean, Six Sigma, and other methods. Okay, again, here we try to optimize the workflow and the real-time data by using this kind of systems. So this is what we are trying to do. For example, now if you look at that, we have autopilot systems, we have a truck driver systems, we have auto tracking systems. So the thing is, the reason why we want to have this real-time data. And even whenever we search now, for example, if you are searching a YouTube or any kind of, for example, Netflix, so whatever you search on that particular databases, so they try to keep all these informations in the real-time data. Then in future, whenever you try to open it back or turn on back the systems, then they start to propose a number of ideas or the number of elements, the one that you searched before. So means that this is one of the elements which is very important for them to understand. Okay, reduce the cost, which is, as I mentioned just now, is very important for us. This is elements which we have to, industry have to do with that, because if you already know that in this area, like we have technologies, and then in the technologies, the company have to invest on the cyber securities in order to prevent all the data. So in order to prevent this kind of informations or databases, then company have to invest like up to 20% of their profit, from their profit. Okay, so how they're going to get the income in the future? So what they try to do is now try to reduce any kind of unnecessary costs, so lower the operation costs and also transportation expenses, so which they can cover up the cost that they have to spend for this cyber security elements. Okay, what is AI? What is predictive analytics? So I think like if we can have sessions right now, I don't know, because the student is joining online, right? Is it our students are joining online or they are in the lecture hall? I'm sorry to ask.
Online, sir.
Online. Okay, so I welcome anyone of the students to participate and enjoy with me. Having this kind of questions. Please feel free to turn on your mic and participate and give some answers of it. Okay, I just wanted to ask a questions to participants or students. What if you could predict tomorrow? Anyone can predict what's going to be happen tomorrow? What about the weather? How about the stock price, supply chain risks, supply chain disruptions, logistics optimizations, and even your exams result? Can you know that at the end of the semester, how much you will get it?
You will be along the year, summertime. It's hot weather.
Hot
That's
weather,
the
right?
forecast.
Yeah, that's we have forecast. So from where we get this information, these forecast informations? Students?
This is from the the common sense here, because this is right, hot country.
Okay, yeah, you are right. So basically, we have a historical data. So in a predictive analytics, so basically we are require a predictive data, historical data. So historical data from the previous month or previous years or in the same seasons, so that we start to predict some things for the next coming years. Okay, that's the reasons why we are able to do this kind of analysis. Okay, stock price also nowadays has become like a very fluctuation, but how we're going to analyze this data? So how does the companies try to make a decisions on either we want to invest on a certain stock or not? Okay, and then in the future also we don't know what is going to be happen for the supply chain risk. So due to this, I mean, there are quite recent issues about this U.S. tariff, which has been disrupt a lot of what we call supply chain industry. And then also with the recent global issue, political issue, war here and there, then it's also be one of the elements. So then again, how our logistics and supply chain industry are trying to respond on this particular element. So we don't know how it's going to be happen. So basically what we are looking for the previous data that we can refer to, because we know somehow we have to be a little bit proactive in order to determine what is going to be happen next. So then we can do unnecessary actions in order to make sure that we are well prepared and ready for that kind of element. Okay, for example, like this is like a real life example. So Netflix, so once you turn on the left, I believe that many of you have Netflix at home. So we just turn on the Netflix channel, then you can see that Netflix start to recommend some shows that you might like too, because they are captures the data from your previous visit. Okay, and then the same Google Map as well, try to predict a traffic jam, how the traffic jams happen, how they are able to give I mean the information. So in the 100 meters ahead, so there are traffic jams or red light in France, and how they got all this information. So this is also from the predicting, and how they know that there is a policeman in front of you or not. So they start to say, is it the policeman still there? And then the users start provide the information. Yes, the policeman still there. Then so they give collect the information, capture the information, and provide this to another users. Okay, Amazon also predicts products demand. So in this case, so they start to understand what the demographics are required in that particular area. Not every locations are having the same favorable item. So means that, for example, in Indonesia, so they start to capture about the informations of the geographic informations about this demand from Indonesia's society or citizens, and then in the UAE, in the Qatar, and in other places. So that means that here they start to understand. They have one dashboard which they can read the informations, which item is going to be the high demand and which item is not a high demand, and then how about the travel times, the lead time between travelings, and also how does they going to manage it properly in order to deliver the item. And then manufacturers start to predict the quantity of the raw material and services. Okay, students, can you just give me any other examples from the real life experience that you have it? Any students want to?
Maybe for me as a Gen Z,
Yes.
maybe in the social media, that is also predictable, right?
Yes, you're right. For example, you turn on the Facebook, then you see that wherever you are keep watching that one is keep repeating again and again, and then the next time they start to recommend that one to you, or TikTok or whatever it is related to. So this is like kind of predictive analytics, wherever they start to capture all this information, the one that you showed it before. Okay, so domain basically predictive analysis. So we can just have it in all industries. Okay. For example, online retails, fraud detections, and improvised market campaigns, weather forecasts, and other matters, even cyber security issue as well. Okay, and then for the healthcare nowadays, we start to have this kind of ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it is. So you start to write some things in that one, because basically ChatGPT and the Gemini and so on, they have captured all the information which has been addressed or has been highlighted by the previous researchers or any kind of website or journal paper. So they start to capture all this information and they will provide you with the information. For example, you can just write at ChatGPT, today I'm sick, so I'm not able to come to the college. So should I write to my teachers, and what can I do next? And then they just give you, the ChatGPT start to give you all this kind of information easily. Okay. So I know that it's very difficult. We want to stop students from using this kind of technologies, but to be honest, in my class, I just welcome my students to use that at all. Okay, because I said this is your area, this is your times to use. During my time, I don't have this kind of technology. So now is your time to use the ChatGPT or Gemini or any kind of like um, pilot or whatever it is. So I said, but the thing is you have to be very careful. Not information provided by all these kind of softwares are reliable. And then you have to double check about the references and make sure that you try to figure out the point. And you after that, everything you do it by yourself. So identify the point, which is the important point. Then you can just capture the point. And after that, you have to do more research about that. Okay. And then the next one is here. This is what I mentioned about the understanding of predictive analytics in logistics. So as I mentioned, this is a combination of the statistical algorithm and also machine learning. So this is kind of a technologies which are like in the era of, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, everybody is keen to use this one. Okay. So basically we try to use this kind of methods in order to make sure that we are able to make a decisions. Industry itself are able to make decisions and identify the potential challenges in the future. So basically we have to follow the root cause, which we require historical data. Okay, in order, as much as historical data we have, then it's going to help us to determine our forecastings or the informations to be the outcome will be presented is going to be in a good manner. Okay, instead of you have for example 1 year or 2 years information which is not quite sufficient, but if you have more than 5 years, 10 years, for example 15 years, so we have all these collections historical informations, then we can just use this one. So means that by hoping that the outcome of our predictive analytics will be more sufficient, so will be more correct in order for us to put our actions in the future. So in a simplest way, we say that predictive analytics, we are using a past historical data, so to guess what might be happen in the future. Okay, so for example, as I mentioned before, even in the industry, there are many, companies, especially Amazon, so they are very happy to use this kind of system. Even Talabat and also Uber. I think in Indonesia, you have Uber, right? So Uber, for example, like you start to turn on your apps, Uber apps, or Talabat apps, and then from your home, you start to make a booking, and then the drivers start to come to pick up you from home. And then this is all information, so they start to predict you how many minutes, okay, how many times do you require. So the driver will be arrive at your home in 2 minutes. So it means that you have to be ready. So they start to give you a notification. It means that, so this is a real-time data which is provided by this predictive analytic, okay? And then decision making, so we are using the AI-driven route optimizations and also inventory plannings and also Amazon. So one of them, the one that I mentioned just now. So they use this one as well. Okay, how does the predictive analytic work? Okay, so basically we try to collect our data either from the previous data or the current data, the real-time data. So, and then also any users who are using this one is depend on the type of things. Okay, for example, Google Map, they are depending on the user who are always provided the information, including these ways, okay, and then also Facebook, they are collect all the data, and then TikTok and all this, okay. Even though they start to say that, okay, we can make a business, a logistics business in this particular platform. So how? So they start to collect all the data, and then they start to do preparations of it, and they start to analyze after that using a statistical model and also algorithm. They start to come out with their predictive model. Okay, this predictive model later on, we're going to use AI and also machine learning to interpret what is going to be happen. And then we're going to present it to our manager or our lecturers or supervisors. So this is going to be a good thing for us to do based on the information that we provided to the predictive analytic software. Okay, in terms of the competitive advantage of using this particular method, so you can see that here, so we can just use it anywhere, okay, around the globe. So supply chain optimizations. So basically we try to manage the inventory and then we're going to do a forecast. So for example, like if we are selling the winter coat for this year, this coming winter, so how much, how many items, how many units that we want to prepare for, and then from the manufacturer itself, then how many unit they need to produce. So from where they want to get the information. So basically from the previous data. So then start to do that. And then they're going to see that either the weather conditions are now okay or not, or there's a changing in terms of global condition, global change. So they start to do some this kind of activities and assessments. Okay, then they start provide information to the system, and then the system start to predict something. Okay, so we have to take into account the external and internal factors before we make a decisions. Okay, the financial analysis, for example, HR also they start to do some predicting employment attritions and identify potential candidates. So from where? So whenever basically when I think everyone have LinkedIn, right? If you open the LinkedIn, then you can see that there's job area. So once you try to apply the jobs, then you upload your CV. And then by the way, in LinkedIn, they already apply a system. They put a systems then, and then they say that okay, they start to put a filtration system. Not all the all applicants' CVs will be reviewed. Okay, so they start to have a filtration process. So once you submit it, and then they start to look at your by the system and try to understand your information, the one that you highlighted in your CV, and then they start to know what is your experience, what is your degrees, and then everything. Either you are your CVs are suit to that particular jobs. If not, they start to put you away from the system. So they try to minimize a number of what we call potentials candidate for that. Okay, then later on, they're going to pass the informations to the HR team to evaluate further. And then operations analytics also we can to use this one in order to make sure that we can reduce the number of error or failure whenever we are doing this kind of production systems. Okay, and also we can just put a maintenance schedule in the future. And then sales revenue forecasting also be part of it. Okay, and then customer analytics, how we want to know whether we are able to provide a high value customer satisfaction or not. Okay, and then the customers are happy with us or not. So that's the reasons why we have to collect all this kind of information. Then from that we can understand it, the trend, and then what we need to change. For example, we are required information from the customers. Okay, please provide your information, and please provide your details. Okay, so then the system will start to design a dashboard. Okay, these customers are located at this particular area, how many of them, and then what are their preference, what are their like here and there. So then after that, the system will start to give you an information and start to design things that can help and able to meet what the customer want. Okay, so for example, like Spotify, so they start to suggest your next favorite songs if you always listen to the Spotify, and then Amazon also come with it. And then what's next? So there are a lot of lifetime experience that we are facing too, but either we are notice it within our area of predictive analytics or not. Okay, one thing, this is the one that I mentioned just now. So if you can see that Amazon, okay, they start to collect data. Okay, this is they are using these Amazon warehouse systems. Okay, and then they collect data and aggregate massive informations about the customer and transactions. So because Amazon is worldwide business. Okay, so they have a lot of products here and there, and then now they start to figure out which areas, which regions are very in high demand. So then they have to prepare something in order to accommodate their customers over there. And then which countries that very few, in terms of demand, for example, and which countries doesn't have Amazon. So they no need to take care of that particular area at the moment. So now they have to look at on their customer requirement and also the demand. And also at the same time, they try to link with the local supplier at that particular region who are able to provide the products or any orders in very quick and fast. And then they start to analyze using the tools, okay, and then make a pattern and trend, and then start to insights for the they got they start to do a strategy implementation based on the predictive analytics. Okay, so they start to provide some recommendations and inventory management, pricing strategies. So that's the reason why sometimes when you open the Amazon system, so you can see that, oh, this is discount, this is 10% discount, this one 5% discount. For what? Because they are trying to play with this information, and they try to grab your attentions as a potential buyer. Walmart in the US, so this is also part of it. So they are using this platform as a predictive analytic in order to make sure that they are able to leverage the real-time data. Okay, so they try to deal with risk management. So what as what I mentioned earlier, so they start to put all this kind of information from the beginning. So they try to predict what kind of a risk might be happen in future, and then what is the strategy, what is the what we call risk mitigation actions that need to be done by them. Okay. And then in terms of the supplier collaborations, also they started to mention that this was one of the platform that they can able to do transparency and eligibility, agility, okay, across the supply chain. So means that here not everybody can come and join them to be the supplier, but they have to look at on the platform and how they are able to control the system, because nowadays there are a lot of scammers outside there, to be honest, especially in the market. Okay, then what they try to do, they try to prevent their systems properly. So they are using this predictive analytics in order to predict whether this supplier is potential to be our supplier or not. Okay. So if you are talking about the predictive analytics software, there are lots. Okay, there are lots. But as the best thing, the one that I mentioned, Excel and also machine learning. Okay, that's coming to the situations. Okay, Excel is common. I believe that is like very easy for everybody to understand it. But nowadays we are also agree that with the assistance of the technologies, we have a lot, okay, especially the company to make decision in the second. So no matter what, information is very important and data is very important. That's the reason why most of the companies nowadays try to spend a lot of money, especially in order to protect the data, the customer data, supplier data, and also the demand data, whatever data that they have in the company. So even though we are now, I mean, the system is open access, we have a cloud data, we have also other type of data, and then big data. So all this is a software, the things that we have to pay, company have to pay about it, but how much they're willing to pay. So a big questions, which is something that be debated globally recently because of how much they have to invest at the beginning to buy a new technologies, particularly in the logistic and supply chain operations or industry. And then the second one is how much that they have to pay, the industry have to pay in order to protect the data by buying this kind of cybersecurity software. Okay, so how many layers of security elements that they require in order to protect the data? So again, this creates another issue, which is like make this industry feel like, what? Why we have to follow all these kind of elements? But why we have to understand this need to be happen to us? Okay, and how much that we have to spend? Basically, about 15 to 20% of their profit margins just to protect this data. Okay, there are a lot of informations. If you can see that, I show you. I mean, I give you videos here. I don't know whether we have a time to show it. Okay. Otherwise, later on you can just look at this one. Please, Nora, if you don't mind, after the session, you can share my slide to the students.
Sure.
Okay, and then okay, so basically, so now we go back to this part. So I think I prepared some exercise using this Excel document. It's going to be very easy and simple exercise just to show you how things can be happen. Okay. So for example, like this one, this is an Excel document. So basically the same as what we have to do. So how we're going to do here is about the sales. Okay, we have a sale calls and a copier sales. So in the future, so how I'm going to predict next. So I have no idea about it. So we can have this particular data and then we can use the correlation first. Okay, and then we have to put the input. So the input basically, so we have X and Y, and then we put them as labels and the output here, and then we just paste it here. Okay, so here we can see that we have the correlations coefficients is 0.86, so which is very good. Okay, and then next what we need to do, we have to analyze the regressions. Okay, you just click here, regressions, and then Y, what is Y? Basically, I already put in here X and Y, and then X, so we just highlight X here. Okay, we just label them all, and then the output, we click below them here. Okay, so here we can see that the colorations, correlations between both, okay, X and Y. So one is independent, the other one is the dependent. Okay, Y is dependent and X is independent. And then to make us easy, so what we can do is we can just draw the chart, scatter diagram chart, basically. Okay, in this scatter diagram chart, so we can just see that how does the correlation between the information, because we have, this is the information that we have. Okay, this is the information we have. So now how we want to see that about the regressions equations. So we just click on it, add a trend line. Okay, and you tick the last two boxes, and then you can have this regressions. So it seems like the regressions equations and the linear lines are quite positive in this science. Okay, so then we can transfer the information into the software, and then after machine learning or any kind of software that you are familiar with, and then after that you can just perform the task. And then the next one is, okay, for example, like this one, we have three different X, okay, XA, X1, X1, X2, X3, so which is three different independent. So we have sales depend on income, depend on this one distance, and then also the running frequency. So what we can do is, if you want to run the data, so we can use the data analysis. Again, we can use the regressions. Okay. Okay, the Y from sales to here, and then X, okay, from X1 income until the last one, and then we put the outcome here. Okay, so then here, if you want to predict next, for example, I put myself no rule. Okay, so what is going to be my potential sales for myself? Okay, so having said that, we have to predict something. So I have, for example, like 55,000 of income, and then distance is 3 miles, and also running frequency is 6. Okay, so what is going to be my potential incomes sales to be? So what we can do is, in future is going to be very easy for us. So we have intercept, which is going to be constant. So constant means that we have to multiply by 1. And then here income. So income is X1. So we can see that is 55,000. And then distance is 3, and also running is 6. Okay. So next what we can do is just multiply them. 1 multiplied by the coefficients. Okay. And then you just drag the value down here. Okay. And then you can have the sum of it. Okay. Okay. This will be my sale. Okay. So then we can predict that for Nurul, myself. So basically I have about 3,800 somethings. Okay. So this is going to be my potential sale. So then again, you can have, if you have a lot of data here, then you can just add more and more and more. Okay, the last part is about this forecasting. So how we're going to do a forecasting is going to be very easy for us. So you have this kind of data. So I have this data since like 1993 until 2024. Okay, it's quite recent data. And then how we're going to do a forecasting. Forecasting is very easy if you are using like this kind of Excel. So you have this forecasting sheet. Okay, so you can see that here you can just put the forecasting N. For example, like 2020, let me just 2035. Okay, and then they're going to have a two chart. Either do you want to have this line chart or you want to have a bar chart. Okay, it's up to you. So this is very important for you. I think I prefer to have in this line because it's easy for me to look at either the line, the mean value. The mean value is within the range, okay, which is upper levels. And then we call it UCL, and we have also LCL. And then we create, and then we can see that here. So this, by using this data, like we can are able to predict what is going to be the next value of it. And then we have this sort of informations around this area. If the mean value is outside of the range, we have UCL and LCL. So if outside of the range, so UCL means that upper confidence bounds levels, or LCL is lower confidence levels. Okay, if the mean value, okay, if you can see that the forecast value, basically we call it, okay, is outside of the range, then it's something that we have to figure out what needs to be done. Okay, what action we can take into it. Okay, and then we come back to this one. So we have done this exercise, and then we have done this one as well. Okay, in terms of the sustainability, okay, throughout this part, and then again, it's good to have this kind of technologies, and then there are a lot of benefits. To be honest, I very welcome all these kind of technologies, especially in our area, okay, in order to determine the sustainability of logistic and management systems. But the thing is, like here, we have to be ready with what kind of circumstances or issue might be happening in the future. If we talk about, I think, if I'm mistaken, for the last year, which is Microsoft has been updated their systems, and then all over the world been infected. Okay, especially those who are using this the Microsoft tools or Office. Okay, for example, like in the airport, so they start to the passengers has been stranded, and then the staff have been stranded because they are not able to do any kind of check-in due to these issues for a couple of hours. Okay, so in the future, we don't know, because we are now rely 100%. I can say that 90%, 80%, 90%, okay, rely on technologies and internet. Okay, but the thing is, till when is going to be happened? Okay, till when it will going to help us, because we don't know what's next. Okay, and then what is takeaway note? Okay, digital transformations is reshaping logistics and supply chain, definitely, and one of them is a predictive analytic, because you don't need to do any manual calculation at all, to be honest, and then you just put the information, and then you can just analyze it straight away. So you can just click, especially if you are using Tableau. I hope that maybe any one of you are very familiar using Tableau. So then in Tableau, so you just upload the information, even the Excel document, you can just drag it, and then you can run the process. Make sure that the commands that you're given is very clear, and then you can run the exercise straight away. Okay, then you can get the outcome. Then after that, you can present the outcome to your supervisor or managers, whatever it is, what's next to be happen, what next to be taken. Okay, in terms of sustainability and efficiency, so this is one of the long-term success that we are looking for. And then competitive edge. Now everybody's are trying to compete each other. So especially if we are looking around, for example, Chinese brand car recently, they have been started to penetrate the market. Okay, so with new brands of technologies, they are start to install it in their the features in the car, and then they put a lot of what I call technologies elements, which is other cars doesn't have it. Okay, so this is one of the elements how they try to be more competitive in the market compared to the other well-known car brands. Okay, for example, Toyota, Nissan, and other matters. Because what they did is they start China's brand car. Basically, they did some studies, okay, related to what customer needs in the future. So they start to do a predictive analytics. They study today, but they try to predict in the 3 years and 5 years time. Okay, then this is going to be the last slide for me. Okay, so basically, predictive analytics, we are using data to make a better decisions. Okay, but uncertainty is part of our life, so we have to be very careful with it. We don't know what's going to be happen next. So data going to help us to navigate it. But the thing is, we have a previous data. We can just use it as reference of us, and then we can just make our proactive actions for the future. But now what best thing is like I've Industrial Revolution 5.0 is try to blend or combine, make a balance between the data or the technologies and the human judgments. So this is going to be the best outcome in the future. Okay, that's it from my side. Nora?
Thank you very much, Dr.
Yeah,
Saiful, for
it's
the
back to you.
exciting
Yeah.
presentation. Wow. I would like to, there is one sentence that really hits me is using past historical data to guess what might happen in the future. That's that is something that I will always remember. But right now we are reaching to the Q&A session. We will now open the floor question from our participants. Is there anyone who wants to ask to Dr. Nurul Saiful? I will open the chat box here. Is there anyone?
Miss Naura, I'm Julie.
Oh, yes, Pak Julie.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Good evening, Mr.
Waalaikumsalam
Nurul.
warahmatullah.
Yeah, I'm Afiat Julie from student MM Logistik at ULPI. I have a question regarding the
Yes, please.
presentation you delivered.
Yes.
What extent can forecast method be effectively and accurate applied made to current global economic uncertainty, particular in the implementation of IoT within supply chain management? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, basically, if you can say that nothing is perfect in the world. So what we're going to have it is in like a forecast. Forecast is just help us to determine what actions we can take in a proactively. For example, like that's the reason why I said from the beginning we are required the data. Okay, the historical data. So the historical data we start to predict what's happened and we analyze it, and then what's next actions we have to take into account. We know that this situation is going to be happen. For example, heavy rain in Indonesia, especially in December, if I'm mistaken, right? So in a logistics circumstances, for example, Talabat, Uber, what they have to do, right? Because they have to study everything from the backside, which is from the previous informations. Like last year, oh, we have a very, like, for example, Talabat, oh, our demand is very few because of delays and some sort of uncertainty issue. Because we don't know when it's going to be happen, the rain is going to be happen, heavy flood. And then now, if it happen again, what is going to be happen? What our proactive actions? How are we going to deliver? So this is coming to the situation where we are able to give decisions. I mean, the companies are able to make decisions, then the steps that they have to do in order to reduce the number of discrepancy.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you, thank you.
I hope that
Okay,
answers
thank
your
you.
question well. Thank you.
We still have a bit of time. Is there anyone who would love to ask Dr. Nurul Saiful questions? Okay, if not, the question is actually from me.
Oh,
Okay, so
yes,
okay,
please.
Maria, you first.
Yes.
Oke.
Maria, you?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullah.
Am I needed to spotlight myself because I'm co-host?
Oh, no worry, no
I
worry.
don't have to, yeah. But but this question is really to ask to you, Prof. Nurul. You
Yes,
mentioned
please.
that circular economy and reverse logistic could predictive analytic not just a forecast demand, right? But also can we use to forecast waste or helping firm design supply chain that predict pollution maybe before it happens. Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Nurul.
Yes. But what is your question then? Are you mentioning you're giving a statement or you provide info?
I'm
You're
asking,
asking the question.
can
Yeah.
can the predictive analytics predict the pollution before it
It
happens?
happens. Okay. Okay. Uh, s- yeah. Some things look funny, but by the way, yes, it is. It's possible. Okay. For example, we have a data about this car emissions, the ship emissions, the airplane emissions, and all this kind of, because all the data is there. But what is the necessary actions? Because so throughout for example, for the last 10 years, we have all this kind of informations. But we know that if the emissions still keep going and increasing year after year, then our global will be like in damage. So what is the actions that we can do? For example, like here, so that's the reason why the industrial companies now, I mean, especially the automotive companies, they started to apply for the EV, electronic vehicles. So one of the elements that what they are doing now in order to prevent our emissions. So I know that in terms of the technologies, we say that, oh yes, we have this kind of EV, but the thing is before the EV came, and then they started to do a predictive analytics, that they say that if we are still continuing using our conventional vehicles, which is using a petrol, then in the future, after 10 years, then our emission, I mean, our global will start to be harmed with all this kind of emissions. And then this emission is not only lead uh, as it is, but it will affect our body at all as a human. Because, once the emissions goes up to the sky and then the acid rains come down and then go to the trees and plantations and also our body. And then it goes to, then everybody start to get sick and then we have to go to the hospitals and then the hospital government have to invest a lot of money to the hospitals and all these kind of logistics elements involved with it. And then even if we have, I mean, the plantations or the trees are destroyed, and then we have not enough nutrition in order to provide to our societies. So then, even though we say that emission is a very small element, but actually huge in terms of the impact. So that's the reason why even in the aerospace, I mean, like aeroplane airline right now. So what they are doing now, they are trying to do this kind of measurements using the predictive analytics. So they started to use any kind of systems in order to prevent them. Yeah. I hope that I am answer your
Okay,
question.
thank you very much. Little scary, right? Thank you
Yeah.
very
No,
much.
because in the logistic we have to explain everything is in the single process.
Yeah.
It's not just talk about
Yeah.
emission, but is what is the impact after that.
I'm agree. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, I think we can have one more question from Pak Dodi Haryanto.
Yeah, thank you, Bu. Good evening, uh, Prof. Nurul.
Good evening.
I'm Dodi from Ulbi, Master Students. I have some question on the human versus AI decision making. Yeah, with the growing roles of AI and machine learning in the predictive analytic, do you think there is a risk of the over reliance on the algorithm, potentially reducing the roles of human intuitions and the experience in the supply chain decision making?
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Dodi. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, if you can see that here, now we are moving forward to the industrial 5.0. Okay, so if we search in the Googles, or there are a lot of informations now, that especially in the logistic industry, because logistic is everywhere in the world. Okay, Right. Then one of the features, one of the elements in the Industrial 5.0 is to find a commonality and how does the humans are able to work with the technologies. Okay, so now in 4.0, we are, I mean, everybody's scared that, oh, we have AI, we have this one, we have a robot, we have, so means that we are going to lose our job. Right. So this is something that's come into our mind and which has been debated outside there. But the thing is, like, after we are studying about this Industry 4.0, I mean, the industry persons try to embed that humans is mandatory to be there, incorporated with technologies. So decisions, for example, if we have AI just now, I have Excel document, I have this machine learning. I how you call, I include the data, I put the input there, and then I run, and then I get the results. Who's going to interpret the results? Is it the machine? Is it possible machines to interpret the results? Machine can talk with us about the results? No. So we require human in order, so means that here human have to be a little bit more than the system itself. Okay, so we have to upgrading our skills in order to understand how to interpret the result. Oh, we have these results. Also, the graph is something like this and that, and then we have a risk in the future. So what's next? Even though AI can just give you an idea, and is going to be the potential solution for that, but who going to implement it? We, human, right? So that's the reason why nowadays, no worry about that. So nothing to be worried, which human have to be as a priority together with the technologies. That's why I said in my class, I welcome anyone who want to use the AI, but you are the one who going to digest the informations. I hope that I answer your questions.
Yeah, that's a very good answer for me.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Thank you, Pak.
Okay, wow, seems like I do not have my turn to ask my question, but that is fine. Entirely for us, though an hour has passed. But now,
No
before
worries,
our
Nora. You can still ask your question. Prof. Nurul is so much welcome.
I think
Why
I
not?
think,
Why
I
not?
think that
Please.
is fine. If I could, I would connect separately with you, yeah, Pak.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, now before our time's end, I would like to invite Vice Rector 1 for Student Affairs, Professor Dr. Insinyur Agus Purnomo, to deliver his remark for this fruitful event. Dr. Agus, is he
Yes,
here?
Miss Nurul, thank you. It's my turn to give a closing remark. Is it true?
Yes,
Hello?
Agus, true.
Yeah, is my voice is clear, audible?
Yes.
Yes, you can hear.
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of the today's webinar, allow me on behalf of ULBI to express my deepest sincerely thank you, distinguished speaker, Dr. Nurul Saiful Fitri bin Abdul Rahman, for his inspiring and insightful presentation. Your knowledge and expertise in predictive analytics, in logistics and supply chain have given us a valuable